Hey Holly, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to walk you through the analysis, and I can put some of this on paper and we can go from there. In a separate email, if you decide to move forward, I have some punch items that I'd like to see done at the house, but I think this gets us close enough ballpark wise to the best possible scenario and what we might be able to do. So let's get started. This is our subject property. Just wanted to take you through that, but basically I think this is where your dad actually bought the house back in 2004. Yeah, this is the same listing. Looks like it was foreclosure. Did pretty good on it. You see, he paid, well, list price is 94. He paid 94. So, and this is the square footage. The reason this is important is that's the multiplier we're going to use as we talk about price per square foot. We can go to the tax record here. It shows the same, 975 square feet. So I'm believing that to be accurate. If for some reason you think it's not, that could change things, but that's the number we're going to be using. Okay, so first what I did is I pulled the comparable sales in the neighborhood. That's a very small neighborhood, but we just happened to have 4 sales this year. One of them was not a comparable sale, so I had to clean that one out. And you see that we got some 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. All little interesting houses. We'll flip through those. But as I hover over the sales price, you'll see the price per square foot. So what we have here is this one, 59, 118, and 125. Now the one at 59, I'm not really considering that a comparable, but I'm just giving you, showing you a few of them. So we'll flip through these real quickly. Well, okay, there you go. So this one is in distressed condition, and that's why I'm not really considering that a comparable, so don't worry about that. But I threw it in there because it was in your neighborhood. And then this one, which also doesn't have good photos and whatnot, but it was a halfway decent house because it actually didn't have a terrible price per square foot. And then this one right here. Now that one, I saw that and I was like, how in the world could that be our highest comp? But if you click on the inside, on the photos, you'll see the inside is pretty sharp. They had vaulted the ceilings, granite countertops, backsplash. I mean, real open floor plan. You know, so good for them. They got a great price for all their work. And even then, with that kitchen, I doubt that work ever paid them back. But because even at 125 square foot, that's quite a bit of money spent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to throw the net a lot wider, and I'm using the same criteria that an appraiser would use. I'm not trying to cross any major roads. On a couple of these, we actually do get an Antioch zip code. That obviously hurts the value to the public, but for appraisal purposes, that's a reality. They could use an Antioch one. It's kind of frustrating. They could even jump zip code lines. We're just trying not to cross any major roads. We need 3 good comparables. So when we flip through this, you'll see 95 a square foot, 105 a square foot, 92, 103, 102, 102, and 125. Now in this case, all those are really solid and close together, so it's easy to come up with the pretty good averages. So I will click on this Creekside one again. That's the one that's at 125. We'll flip through a couple. So you see they're pretty comparable. The only thing that I felt like was, let me go to another one of the second highest one. The only thing I felt that was a added value to a couple of these that we may not have in our house was some of them have a drop under garage like this one. Well, I said this one. It wasn't that one, but either way. So this one doesn't. This one is one of our higher ones, pretty sharp. I think it's pretty comparable to our house as well. So that one's at 105 a square foot. But anyway, you get the idea. All the numbers are really close together. So then we're going to break down those numbers in the next step. So some of the factors that are determining value here that are measurable that appraisers will take into consideration. Of course, we've got the square footage and the past sales, condition of the property, and the updates completed, basement square footage, and garage space. Those last 3 are coming into play pretty heavy here because it's an old neighborhood and we have different levels of updates that have been done. the basement square footage. I didn't eliminate those comps because they were too helpful to just say, well, just because it has the drive under, I'm not gonna include that. And they probably are adding $5,000 to $10,000 to any sale. And the garage space, that kind of is one and the same, because I don't have a separate garage on any of these. They're all drive-under garages. The subjective factors that are working for or against you are the outbuildings and not having new home competition, things like that. So those are working for you. Lack of storage space is kind of working against you. Now, that being said, that's not going to change what I'm going to try to sell it for. It is going to change the traffic we're driving to the property. And obviously more buyers, more competition means we can maybe bring a little better price. So the closed comps is what we call our reality. This is just the cold, hard data that we would be foolish to ignore. It says the house is worth about $105 a square foot, which brings us to a probable sales price of $101. And then we have what I call fantasy land. Fantasy land is not bad. I don't mean that tongue-in-cheek, because I really do try to sell for the most possible. But what I did is I went through and picked out my best 3 comps, and I averaged them as if I was the appraiser. And here's what I came up with. It's about $116 a square foot. That list price would be $113. So that's not where you guys wanted to be. I do think that if we were to go to market, we'd go to market around $119. That would help us hopefully get that fantasy land price, and you would just need to complete some punch items and updates and things like that that are not going to be very expensive. They're just red flags that could keep us from getting offers and getting a good price right off the bat. So I appreciate your time. I really want to get this sold, and I got a good reaction from a guy that I showed it to today, because I told him, I said, look, I haven't done the analysis on this house yet, but it will be in your price range, and he loved it. And so I just don't think that, I don't know if we're going to be able to get 140. Or 140, especially net 140. I think you take 8% out of any one of our sales prices, that's basically what you're going to walk away from at the table, because you've got 6% in realtor fees, and then you've got 2% just soft costs that you're going to be paying for recording titles and closing and courier fees and tax stamps and all that kind of stuff. And we're on the back of the year, which means that you're going to have to, since taxes are paid in arrears, you're going to have to make an adjustment to the buyer for the taxes that they'll pay at the end of the year. So hope that helps, and I don't know that we'll be able to get you what you need, but I hope you do agree that it's a thorough analysis, and that this will be helpful to you guys. And I'll go ahead and put the punch list together, and I will put that in this email as well. Thank you.